Oh, yeah, pivotal game 5 has gone the Sixers' way, 115-103 in Boston as the Sixers take care of business. A magnificent 3-2 lead coming back to South Philly. I am pumped up, Ben Barry, Danny Palmel's Ben Barry, our producer extraordinaire, hopping in front of the mic to talk Sixers here on the Sixers Talk podcast, brought to you by Wilmington University, WilMU Works. Ben, tell me I shouldn't be this hype. Why shouldn't I be this hype? Make me feel good about being this hype.
Why do I have to make you feel good about being this hype? You should be this hype. The Sixers came through with a beat them down. Every time that you thought the Celtics were going to make a run, because I thought they were going to make plenty of runs, the Sixers stopped it. It never got to a point where we felt comfortable, like, oh, they're going to relax for the rest of the game. Because, I don't know if it's growing up being a Phillies fan, a Philadelphia sports fan, if it's just because Sixers do Sixers things at times. But they continue to apply pressure. Jason Tatum hit a 3. Maxey comes down and hit a 3. Jaylen Brown gets a bucket. And Embiid or Harden gets a bucket. It worked. You should be this excited. They're up 3-2, one game away from the Eastern Conference Finals. It's been over 20 years since last time the Sixers have been in the Eastern Conference Finals. Be excited. Be happy. Feel good.
The Daniel House game is what really got us there as the Sixers win this game with really holding Boston to just 3 players scoring in double figures, which is hard to believe because this was a team that you expected to protect their home court, to come out here against the Sixers in game 5 and really push them to the limit and make them go into their resolve and show us what they're made of. But it really never even got to that point because the Sixers kind of held on to their lead, kept Boston at bay. And I mentioned Daniel House. Just if you watch Lonnie Walker contribute for the Lakers to go up 3-1 against the Warriors, then it was that type of game from Daniel House, getting points and production from a player you might not expect. The Sixers as a team, they went 5 deep into the bench only because Shake Milton was on the floor as an extra ball handler, but they have 5 players in double figures. House, who has 10 points off the bench, going 5 for 7. And I don't know. I didn't expect it to happen that way. Maybe George Niang would have been the guy who contributed, but I never expected Daniel House to come in and play like that. He was the perfect complement and energy off the bench that the Sixers needed. And if you're going to win a championship, you're going to exercise these demons of 20 plus years. Is going to take that type of effort from somebody you don't expect. It could have been Tobias Harris. Maxey finally showed up. Tobias did play well, but Daniel House really kind of changed the momentum for me to make the Sixers win this game.
So what you said, Daniel House, and you mentioned Lonnie Walker, what I've noticed in my time of watching the NBA is your stars are going to be stars, and at times they'll be contained, maybe not shut out, but contained. Every championship run I can think of, there's been a guy unexpected coming off the bench, putting up big numbers. I think of the Celtics Lakers series, 13 years ago now, when you had Big Baby Davis
digging in the bank.
Yeah, Big Baby Davis and Nate Robinson. It was a game where they pretty much, those two carried the Celtics into the winning game. You need JJ Barea for the Mavericks in 2010. You need big games from unexpected players so you can get this far in the playoffs. And Embiid can score 30, Harden and Maxey can score 30, but you're going to need games where an unexpected player comes off the bench and adds. Lonnie Walker the other night for the Lakers.
And the Sixers get this win the first time Harden doesn't go over 40 points. Definitely a more balanced contribution, particularly from the starters here in this game. And he and Joel Embiid both go over 30 points. Maxey goes over 30 points. It was just the kind of game that you had to have, Embiid and Maxey over 30. Harden only has 17, but Harden was cooking
10
and
assists.
efficient. And the NBA assist leader carrying his weight in that regard. I just really enjoyed the rhythm, how they came out there and asserted themselves. And I thought that they also did a great job controlling the rebounding and the second chance points and the hustle, 50-50 balls and all that stuff, the stuff they didn't do, I felt like in game 4. And it was just a pleasure to watch, especially it just was a little bit of a no sweat victory, particularly when the Sixers continued to keep Boston at bay, like you mentioned, and it really responded when they made shots.
The big thing I can think of on top of those things is Boston missed a lot of free throws. I think
they went to the line a lot too.
A lot. So I think it was nine free throws they missed. That makes it a 3-point game right there. Things like that are big.
The Sixers commit 24 fouls to Boston's 16.
Yeah.
So if they're trying to get back in the game, going to the line that many more times definitely could be the difference between winning and losing.
Yeah. Again, you and I never played NBA professional basketball, but playing high school, middle school, that's the free throws ain't accepted. So just at the competition, at this level of competition, games that matter this much, that's unacceptable. I know those guys back in the locker room looking at each other, probably yelling, looking at each other to hold each other accountable. So I'm not saying they'll bounce back and not be perfect from the strike next game, but things like that matter, the margins, what's in the margins.
Nothing pleasured me more than seeing the struggle faces on those Boston fans as the time was winding down, all the cutaways to the crowd.
I got a question for you.
Think about it, man. It's been a while since the Sixers have beaten this team.
I got a question for you because the struggle face is sad sports fans. Does that keep you from going to games sometime because you don't? I
don't want to be a struggle face.
You don't want to be a struggle face. Like you're going to live forever. Like when the Cowboys lose in the playoffs, right. You want to see the Cowboys struggle face on social, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever social media platform. I always think of that girl that was crying from Villanova when they lost.
Right, playing the pick.
Yeah, playing it. Yeah, like. Does that keep you from at least having like really good seats because you don't want to be the struggle face?
No, I have a dream to be have season tickets on the floor. That's one of my life goals. So at some point, and it could be for the Sixers, it could be for any team, but I want to be on the floor. So that struggle face doesn't deter me, but man, I really enjoyed seeing the I mean, bro, they were booing in the first quarter,
booing in the third quarter.
The struggle face at the end of the game, the Embiid chase down blocks and defense, it was all tailor-made for the Sixers to get this win. And, we talk about contributions. We really got to give some love to Tyrese Maxey. It was time for him to show up and show out, and he came and was hitting some of those side step threes and step back threes, and a floater or two fell down. And I just was waiting for the moment where he kind of came into his own. It kind of looked like the series was kind of getting away from him. His speed was kind of neutralized by the way the Celtics play defense, but he came out here tonight in this game in Boston Garden, and it was the vintage Tyrese Maxey that we all have come to enjoy and love.
Yeah, because Maxey this season definitely struggled against Boston, so it was nice to see him. He hit big shots. He drove down the paint and just didn't take over because it was a complete team effort. But third quarter, fourth quarter just played really big, and it's happy to see a good guy like that, someone who's worked hard since he's been in the NBA, just to watch it pay off. And Boston didn't have any answer for him.
They didn't have an answer for that. They didn't have an answer for Embiid in the mid-range.
Why is Marcus Smart guarding Joel Embiid? I know Marcus Smart.
Grant Williams guarding? I mean.
At least he got 50 pounds and like 6 inches on Marcus Smart. Like Marcus Smart, I know he's the net at the barbecue. He's the guy that you appreciate if he's on your team, but otherwise you find him annoying. There's no reason he should be guarding Joel Embiid.
They definitely have history.
They do.
The Big 12. I mean, I'm going all the way back to college. They definitely have history there. So maybe there's a little bit of that familiarity. You know what I'm saying? It's weird because at the same time, I would like Marcus Smart if he was on our team. Yeah. I mean, he's the type of player that some people just hate altogether, hate the face, punch the face, however you want to describe it. But I would like him if he's on our team. Grant Williams, Marcus Smart on Joel. I mean, take your pick. I mean, Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year last year, so there is that. But
still like an immense size difference.
Hey, Doc Rivers is winning the matchups here so far with the coaches, and whether Joe Mazzulla and his inexperience is showing, or it's Doc Rivers' experience that's telling the tale. However you stack it up, you got to like what you see here. Here as the Sixers are coming into South Philly Game 6 and a chance to really move to the Eastern Conference Finals, which I didn't think it would. I thought it would be 7 games, but I'll take it in 6 for sure.
I'd take it in 6 for sure. I would say the thing about the playoffs, and it's not a guarantee, it's playoffs. These coaches have a chance to make adjustments, and that's why in the playoffs you see a team win by 20 points, then lose by 15, then win by 30. Those big seesaw victories like that. I want the Sixers to close it out on Thursday, possibly give us the weekend to relax, recoup before the Eastern Conference Finals, but it's not going to be a walk in the park. Doc Rivers said about Celtics, they play with their food. Sixers don't want them to play with their food. Come out with intention to win, to get a little break before the Eastern Conference Finals.
Well, let's talk about it because the Miami Heat play tomorrow in an elimination game that it can take the Knicks out of commission. And then the Sixers play the very next night with a chance to beat the Celtics. I like the Heat a lot in that series. It just seems like the matchup wise that the Knicks can't keep up with what the Heat are doing. And if the Sixers can take care of business, like you said, Embiid didn't have the brace on tonight.
Right.
That's great progress for the 76ers. He looked to have, the scoring on all three levels, to chase down blocks. Maybe his legs kind of didn't do him any favors there down the stretch, but I think overall, not having the brace, if they can take care of business on Thursday, and regardless of if the Knicks extend the series or not, I feel like everything's shaping up. Obviously, the Sixers will have home court advantage regardless of who they face in the Eastern Conference Finals. So this is exactly the scenario you're looking for if you're a 76ers fan. With the Sixers coming back home, the arena is going to be nuts. It's just going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be jumping. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be packed. And to do it against the Boston Celtics, it's just going to be that much more. Seeing they've eliminated the Sixers twice since Joel Embiid has been with the team.
Yep.
A great opportunity just to be a Philadelphia sports fan and face that Miami Heat team that just Jimmy Butler and the team just elevate themselves during the playoffs.
Let's pay some bills, Ben. How about it? We are brought to you by Wilmington University. Wilmington University and their students are in the game. Upskill in fields like cybersecurity, fintech, healthcare, and education in person or online. Get in the game at Wilmington University. Find us at wilmu.edu. Injured for over 70 years, Lundy Law has been the #1 personal injury law firm in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. Their services are exemplary. Their results are exceptional. Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW to get the money you deserve. It's time to rush to new rewards at Rivers Casino. Now there's a whole new way for you to earn, redeem, and level up your rewards. Get your new Rush Rewards card at Rivers Casino. Get more out of your game at Rivers Casino, Philadelphia. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, here we are back on the Sixers Talk podcast. And, hey, this was a day where we learned the NBA all-defensive team. Embiid wasn't on there. No Sixers on the first team or second team. We get the all-NBA information tomorrow.
Wednesday, yep.
On Wednesday. And you got to think there's going to be some Sixer love there with the all-NBA team, right? I mean, the MVP, Embiid has to be on the first team, right?
MVP, yeah, MVP is not.
Does Harden make the second or third team all NBA team lead? I mean, NBA leader in assists. Nothing. No Harden love there.
No, off the top of my head, like you got Steph Curry, you got De'Aaron Fox. I think Dame Lillard will make one of the teams. Ja Morant. I don't see James Harden making it. That's four guards off the top of my head without really thinking about it. Right. Is Luka going to be a guard or a four? Actually, they don't do that anymore. It's just 5 players.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So kind of that positionless basketball.
Yeah. So I don't see it.
All right. I was just being optimistic, but in the end, I think it'll be a good coronation. A day before they play that game 6, and Embiid being on the first team all NBA. We got the trophy last time. Is there a bell ringer that you have in your mind who could kind of swing the tide in the Sixers' favor for game 6?
Swing the tide. Oh man.
Zoom off?
Zoo be nice. I have a lot of people in my head. I just don't know who's done it recently. Like off the top of my head. So I think that
Wanda Sykes rang it last time, which doesn't quite bring the fan base to a frenzy. No. Let's say, all due respect to Wanda, incredible comedian, right, and a person that I really respect and enjoy to listen to. But I feel like zoom off might bring. He did it earlier in the season. I feel like Zoo might be the one. Might be the secret.
I don't know. Zoo would be great. Maybe they get.
What you want to do, like Meek Mill, Kevin Hart, something like that?
I don't want to do Meek Mill. We'll just move on for that, so I don't get any hate on social media. Danny knows how I feel. I don't know what Kevin Hart. I feel like he's just. I see him so much, so I feel like he's done it recently. I could be wrong. Maybe a player, one of the draft picks from the Eagles. That'd be a great opportunity. Jalen Carter.
I don't even know if people know them yet. So Jalen Hurts, that might be.
I thought he's done it recently, but
I know he's done it, but I don't know how recent it's been.
Well, he hasn't done it since he got the due contract,
right,
so that'd be a great opportunity.
Right, exactly. Howie Roseman. Oh, you bring out Howie Roseman.
Boom. Yeah, I think people will go crazy. I don't think they've gotten LD to do it.
Who's LD?
The rapper from Germantown. He has that TV show on FX. Dave.
You talking about Lil Dicky?
Yeah, I just wasn't
sure. Oh, you weren't going to say.
Yeah. Just,
okay.
Family podcast. So yeah, I don't think I think that's a very niche artist and audience, but so. Yeah, I think Howie Roseman or Jalen Hurts.
They obviously can't miss the opportunity, though. There's something there. They can. You got to pull out all the stops here at this point. Iverson.
Actually, you know who would be great?
Who?
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Who?
First name Sam, last name rhymes with Twinkie. Yo.
Nah, that's not happening.
Yo, that would be great, though.
That would be.
That would be great.
That would be very Sixers specific, and anybody in the arena would get that. But they're not going to do that, though.
Yeah, it's for the fans. We don't care what anyone else thinks. Maybe they'll save that for the finals.
Ben Simmons? Come on, right?
Nope. Are you trying to start a riot? He was trying to start a riot.
All right. Tobias Harris, your favorite topic. How do you feel about the way Tobias played? You tend to be very harsh with your criticism sometimes on Tobias. But let's go over his numbers real quick so we know what we're dealing with here. 7 of 10 from the floor in 31 minutes, 1 for 3 from 3, a double-double, 16 points, 11 rebounds. Did he tickle your fancy tonight?
No, I mean, I'm not starving. It's not a ribeye steak or, some crab legs or something like that. Tobias played well.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely had some, what are you doing moments.
A couple defensive moments like that.
Defensive moments, turnovers.
Yeah.
So, Tobias, I think his role right now is what he is best for him on a good team. Fourth option. I think you're in a good position when he's the fourth option. Like Aaron Gordon for the Nuggets. He's the fourth option, and I think you have a really good team. If Aaron Gordon is the fourth option on your team.
Yeah, I could stomach him being the third option. It's just that I want him to contribute in a way that is complementary on both ends. Mm-hmm. Whereas I don't feel that with Tyrese Maxey, I don't, his defensive work, doesn't really concern me as much. Like I'm not really worried about whether he's, staying in front of his man as much as I want Tobias, because he's, guarding Jaylen Brown and those guys who kind of get to the basket more. But I was pleased with Tobias. I thought he brought a lot of good, timely shot making, a couple of miscues that, shoot you in the foot, kind of make you worried. And he had the foul trouble, which I thought was some unlucky calls that shouldn't have quite gone against him. But I see your point. When he's the fourth scorer, that means that Maxey and Harden and Embiid have all got it going on. I just wanted him to continue to be versatile and contribute. And I think that it could be an Achilles heel for this team in a way, because the Boston Celtics have more of those guys, as we mentioned in previous podcasts, that can mimic what Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum do if they're not on. And once again, Jason Tatum with a slow start in this game, you got to think that he's not going to have a third game in a row where he has a slow start. So it's going to come down to some consistency, and Tobias is definitely a part of that. And I'm thinking, like, it doesn't. Hopefully, it doesn't have to be another game where there's a guy that comes off the bench and gives you something you don't expect. They can kind of keep it with their nucleus, getting by the Celtics in this game 6. But I hear like a wounded animal right now.
No, I hear what you're saying on that. Like, it's great when that doesn't have to happen, but for deep postseason runs, you need that. Tobias is best, and I've said this for years, is when he isn't pounding the ball into the ground. 1-2 dribble, pass, or shoot, drive, make a move. If he has to think and create for others, it's not going to go well. So he was efficient on his 10 shots tonight. I didn't see a lot of dribbling of the ball needlessly, except for a couple of those turnovers. And yes, Boston has a lot of guys that can interchangeable that can create for others or create for themselves, pull up, drive, things like that. However, and as much you got Joe Mazzulla now, Ime before, and I thought Ime was a good coach. I still do, but they're doing the same things with Joe, their deep playoff run. They take a lot of unnecessary hard shots. And I used to think that
contested or like they
contested. Like they should be able to draw things up or get better open looks for Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I thoroughly believe that. And I used to think maybe that was on Ime, but I'm seeing the same thing happen with Joe. And maybe it's just that those guys want to take hard contested shots, but they work so hard to get shots off that it takes away. Like, it should be smoother, more efficient.
Mazzulla getting a lot of criticism and leading up to this game for how he handled the ending of game 4, not calling a timeout, not trying to set something up and letting the guys kind of be free flowing with it. So he's taking his lumps here in his first, Eastern Conference semifinals. So that should be an edge for the Sixers. It should be something the Sixers can use in their favor and continue to pay dividends in a way. Of course, this is a very veteran team that's been battle tested, been to the NBA finals. So
a lot of Eastern Conference finals.
Yeah, you're gonna let those guys carry the way a little bit. But I think we would be remiss if we didn't spend some time talking about the free agent Joel Embiid, name by name, that he wanted here, and suddenly we're in this thick playoff series against a hated rival, and PJ Tucker is starting to show, some of the factors and things that he brings.
Toughness.
There you go. That he brings to this team. So you let me hear what you think. I mean, you're sitting here screaming about toughness, and PJ Tucker is bringing that intensity.
They, as much as I like Embiid and when Ben Simmons were here, I guess the only veteran they really had was JJ Redick, only guy that can get on someone else. And when JJ
Redick ain't playing defense. What do you mean? Huh? Oh, other players on the team. I got you. Like speak up.
Speak up.
Give them
and so Al Horford was here for a blink of the eye, and that's not really his style. Mm-hmm. So last year when they lost, you and me talked about it. It's just they lack toughness. They lack someone that was going to get on somebody. Right. And I think it happened the year before.
Call people out, yeah.
Yeah, with that Hawk series, it was no one that's going to call somebody out. I've seen PJ Tucker do it. I've seen him just do the grunt work and also stay on other guys. Maybe he's not dropping 40, 50 points. He's not dropping 20 points in a game, but he's holding people accountable. He's playing tough. He's just not letting the small things slide. So people like, oh, PJ was a waste of money. We could have spent that somewhere else. I think right now you see we're getting what we're paid for. Like Miami, like Jimmy Butler he's not scoring 90 points in 2 games during the regular season. Getting the playoffs,
right?
Miami's getting their money's worth.
Right.
Sixers are doing that right now with PJ.
Bro, I just said that to my dad today, that about the fact that it back in the day when players got in the postseason, like their numbers went up. Like they averaged 25 during the regular season, but in the 32 in the playoffs, more rebounds, more assists. Like you don't quite see that as much. Like Tobias Harris is a good example. Like his playoff numbers like aren't up from the regular season. So, but when you got guys that are able to do that, it shows it, like Jimmy Butler, like what he is in the playoffs is just different than what the regular season. So I think that's a great point. And PJ Tucker, this is what we brought him here for, right? You brought him here for these type of moments and these types of series. And you saw him speaking life into Embiid's ear in game 4. You see him out here hustling, getting guys riled up, being riled up himself, and bringing it to the Celtics. And I don't think they win without him, man. These last 2 games, I don't think they win without him.
I agree with you. You mentioned the last game just now, a couple minutes ago, that Joe Mazzulla did not call it a timeout. As you know, I was at a wedding, and I should have been enjoying the wedding, but I was listening on my phone. I was listening to the radio broadcast.
Okay.
And if you listen to the radio broadcast, at least on your phone, it's behind. It's behind. So just trying to focus in on the game when I should have been paying attention to the ceremony and the first dance and all.
The best man speaking. He's like, yes.
It was like that scene from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when Uncle Phil was running for judge. And Will was like, yes, because he's listening to an Eagles game. Then he goes, what? That was me at this wedding.
Chill, bro. You just admitted you was listening you weren't paying attention to the ceremony.
I mean,
what?
All
right.
Whatever. What are they going to do now? The wedding already happened.
All right. Thursday, game 6. We will be here afterward to discuss everything that goes down. Make sure to check us out wherever you get your podcast. You got something to say?
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to a listener, Allie Bofa Taylor. That's her name.
Allie, shout out.
She listens to the podcast religiously, and she's thankful for what we do after the games. Hit me up on social media. Fun fact or interesting fact, she listens to the podcast at 1.25 speed. Oh, so it's like faster, sounds like chipmunks or something.
That's smart though. My boy listens to books on tape like that. So
that's you can do it. Respect. I don't think I could do that. It's too distracting.
All right, there you have it, Allie. Shout out. Thanks for listening, and hopefully I don't sound too much like a chipmunk at this very moment that you're listening. But thank you to you and all the listeners out there and viewers wherever you get your podcasts. Keep those comments, thoughts, suggestions, and whatnot coming. For Ben Barry and our boy Noah Levick, check out his work on NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com. I'm Danny Pomels. We're brought to you by Wilmington University. This has been the Sixers Talk Podcast. We'll see you next time.